I'm delighted to be joined now on Skype by Karen Bennett, who's Sales and Marketing Director of our partners Shawbrook Bank. And Karen, we're going to be talking a little bit about tax changes for landlords from a lender's perspective, because you've been very fast to react to the budget news, and you've already come out with a product that may help landlords through the transition.
Yeah, essentially we have recently launched a new product, but across our whole product range, we don't have a pricing differential for whether someone buys in a personal name or buys in a limited company name. But the new product that we brought out really is to appeal to a wider set of property investors, because we have seen a new market emerge. Previously you had the vanilla buy-to-let market, and you still have the vanilla buy-to-let market, which is very straightforward, very tick box system automated underwriting, and then you had the specialist buy-to-let market, which really is where Shawbrook has always positioned itself. Over the last 6 to 9 months, there's been an emergence of some new lenders coming in and creating essentially a simple specialist market. So trying to identify the types of properties or the types of customers that are able to fit some set parameters and therefore have a cheaper pricing because it's easier to underwrite those transactions. So essentially the product that we brought out is so that we can make sure that we can service the property investors that fit within that space.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, and the tax changes are not fully implemented till 2017, so obviously we all have a little bit of time to adjust to them. What advice are you giving your landlords about preparing and planning for these changes?
Essentially, the best bit of advice at the moment is to research the options, to understand how much of their portfolio have they got currently in their personal name, what are the options with regards to setting up a limited company name, what structure do they want that in, what are they going to do about their current portfolio, moving that over, obviously purchasing future properties now, are they, the new properties they're buying, are they continuing to buy those in the personal name, are they now looking to transition over and start buying in that limited company name, and just being aware of the different tax implications for limited companies as opposed to obviously buying in your personal name. So really the best bit of advice we can give at the minute is to research all of those options, get together with a specialist and kind of sit down and try and think what the best way to restructure your investment business moving forward.
And do you feel that these tax changes are going to put buy-to-let on a more professional footing, and that we are going to see landlords understanding that it is much more of a business than something that you just do on the side?
Yeah, I think you will always see a split between the two, because there will be I suppose less people that don't make investment properties their business. So you're still going to have people that rather than, they might invest in a pension, but they also want to invest in property. They'll just need to bear in mind the tax implications means the return that they'll get will be smaller. But they may still be happy with that because they might only be buying one property or two properties and that's it. I think where people use property as an investment, these guys are specialists and it will have an impact, because obviously it does have an impact on the returns, but we find that property investors are very entrepreneurial, so they will look for ways to maximize their returns. So you might see a step change into, and which you've already seen growth over the last 18 months, into the HMO space, where some more of these experienced property professionals are looking to maximize the returns they can get because of the added tax implications. So I think what we will see is we will see a change, but it will be a gradual change and it will be across lots of different things as investors understand the best way to still gain the types of returns they need for that business. But yeah, I mean, having it in a limited company name does mean that you have to provide accounts, does mean that there's a little bit more structure there. But I would be very surprised with a lot of the professionals that we see, even if they buy in their personal name, there is a lot of that structure there anyway.
It's interesting because the property trading space and the buy to sell and the refurb space isn't really affected by these tax changes, and that's a space that Shawbrook operates in already, with bridging, etc. I can foresee that actually buy to sell might become a more popular strategy with landlords, and that they change over more to that kind of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to see we've got a broad base of property investors, and everybody has their own unique model and their own unique way of doing things. And some will do some buy to sell, some buy to hold. They might hold one, sell the next one. They all have a slightly different strategy. And yeah, I do see that they're because of these tax implications, and if they're focusing purely on the return side of things, then obviously there is that from a short-term benefit moving over into the buy to sell element, but still the long-term returns are in holding that property for investment. The numbers may not be quite where they were, before the changes. However, I think that they'll just model that into, well, okay, they might not be getting what they want within 4 years, but within 6 to 7 years, they're still back on track. So again, it brings in that longer-term planning and making sure that they've thought through all of those options. And again, that comes down to researching this all up front and having that set plan of what it is you want to achieve.
I think that's such a valid point you've brought in there, Karen, about longer term planning. And thank you very much for your input on this interview. It's very, very interesting to hear what Shawbrook's up to, and I'm sure that the sort of setup you have at Shawbrook means that you can be very kind of reactive and proactive in developing new products that are going to help landlords to be successful.
Yeah, that's very much at the core of everything that we believe in here, really. It's focusing on who are the customers and then what product set do we need to do to support them and be able to provide them with the finance to help them grow their business.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you on board, and if you want to access any of Shawbrook's products, then you can do so through Property Tribe's financial services. And we'll no doubt hear from Karen if there are new product launches and things that are going to help landlords deal with the tax change.